besties, welcome back to my channel. I bet you weren't expecting a video from me, were you? I feel so bad for saying I'm gonna come back and then I don't come back, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna ghost you guys, and then I do ghost you guys. It's like a toxic relationship, and I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Please believe me that I am very sorry. But I wanted to come on here because it is a new year. I wanted to tell you honestly my goals for this channel. I'm gonna be honest, I really wanted to quit this channel. I really just wanted it to be over. I just didn't have the motivation to post any videos anymore, and I just honestly don't have the money to keep collecting like I normally do for K-pop, and I've kind of fallen out of it. Not that I've like fallen out of K-pop completely, like I still love listening to K-pop, I still love like new comebacks and things like that, but not as much as I used to. The consumer side of me is kind of like done with it. I'm kind of over these companies taking us for granted and treating us like we're made of money, because it's just ridiculous. So really the only group I'm really focused on collecting is TXT, and even then I'm not even collecting OT5, I'm just collecting Huening Kai, and then getting select cards of the other members that I really want. So I figured for the future of this channel, that's not going to happen very often because TXT doesn't have comebacks quite often as other groups do. So there's not going to be a lot of content. And even still, like, sometimes I like to do those things by myself and not have to share them online. I know that kind of seems selfish or whatever you want to call it, but that's just the truth. And that's actually made me very happy this year. Pulling back from this and doing these things on my own has really helped me kind of step back from buying so much and all of that. So that's really helped. Anyway, goals for this next year is I want to create other videos other than K-pop collecting. I will still show my collection a lot. Like, I plan on doing my flip throughs, and like if TXT has a comeback or something, I'll do that and that sort of thing. Like, I want to do a lot of like sleeve decorating videos, like a lot of like binder reorganization, because I want to like change up how my binders look. So I think that'll be some good videos for like the K-pop aspect of this channel. But I also want to incorporate a new hobby that has taken over my life this past half year, and that's reading. And that is what this video is about. I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in 2025. And I kind of want to incorporate Love and Deep Space in this channel a lot, because that is also a big part of my life, I guess. I've been playing that game this whole past year. I think 2 days ago was actually my 1 year anniversary playing the game. So I also want to add that in here. I know I did like the binder setups for them, but there's a lot more content I would like to create with Love and Deep Space. And I would love to do journaling. I've been journaling a lot, and like do journal flip throughs, like deco with me, journal with me, those types of videos. So let me know if that's something that you guys would like to see, because it's something that I definitely love and would love to share with you all. These things I just never thought that you guys would like, because this is a K-pop channel, but I'm probably gonna change it to really just a me channel. It's what I want to do. New year, new me, new channels. Anyway, today's video, I just wanted to recap all of that and get things cleared up for this coming year. But recap, we are going to be doing my 2025 book recap. So I started reading in June, and I have to give all the credit to Jaylene, because she introduced me to an author that we're going to talk about, and I ate up every single word. That's kind of like the reason why I'm in this huge, big like reading phase now. It's not really a phase, like I still love to read, but I had not read since like high school, I guess because I was so busy with college and all the things. But now that I have free time on my days off, I love to read. So anyways, so this was all because of Jaylene, and we will be going through all the books that I read this year. So like I said, I started reading in June, and I have read 51 books since June. To me, that's pretty impressive, and that's a lot. I didn't expect to read that many. I didn't even really anticipate reading that many. I think around October, I was pretty into books. Like, I was in the lower 30, I was in the late 30s, like, range for the number I've read, and I was like, I'm gonna make a goal to read 50. And then I ended up reading 51 up until, what was it, the 31st? So, yeah, and I do count audiobooks, I count ebooks, I count physical books. That's basically the only sources you can. So, I do count audiobooks in my reading because, I mean, you're still, like, reading a book. So, yeah, we're gonna go through all the books that I read. I'm just gonna give a brief, like, description of the book, what I rated it, what I recommend it. So yeah, let's get started. I'm really excited, and I hope you guys are excited to go through this with me. So like I said, Jaylene introduced me to an author, and this was the very first book that I read, and this is the book that got me back into reading, and it's none other than The Love Hypothesis by Miss Ali Hazelwood. I absolutely love this book. I adore it. I'm so excited for this movie adaptation that's coming out. So we have Adam and Olive here on the cover. Olive is being played by Lily Reinhart, and I love Lily Reinhart. Honestly, couldn't have picked a better person to play Olive. And Adam is Tom Bateman. So I'm very excited for this movie to come out. I think it'll come out this year at the end of the year. I got this book for Christmas. I originally read it on an ebook on my phone, but my mom did get me this for Christmas, and it's autographed by Miss Ali Hazelwood. It's got the fan art in here. Here it is. Oh my gosh. And here's the little fan art. I love it. And the sprayed edges. So Miss Ali Hazelwood loves to write her women in STEM, and we love that. So this book, let me just tell you. Oh my gosh. So a little brief description. So this is Miss Olive. She has a best friend. They are, I believe it's Stanford is the college they're going to. So they go to Stanford. Her friend has a crush on her ex-boyfriend, and Olive does not really care about this ex-boyfriend. She wants her friend to be happy, and if dating her ex-boyfriend is going to make her happy, then she does not care. She didn't really like him that much in the first place. But her friend is hesitant, which, good friend. Who would want to date their best friend's ex? I mean, really. But her friend was like, no, like, I'm not going to date him. Like, that was your ex. And she thinks that Olive is not over him, but she definitely is. So Olive is like, well, I'm moving on, when really she's not. She ends up kissing Mr. Adam here randomly in the hallway, where her best friend can see her, and Adam is one of the professors at the college. So there is kind of a little bit of an age gap, but not really. Because he's not been a professor that long, and Olive is, like, way into her academic career. So it's not very much of an age gap, but it's a fake dating relationship. I love a fake dating trope. I absolutely love it. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in this book, a lot of cute scenes that they get put into situations, and the ending is just chef's kiss. I loved it. So I recommend this if you love fake dating. And this is a very good, like, starter read, like, if you want to get back into reading and like romance and just need a very quick, cute. I think I read this in one day. I read this in one day. So if that tells you anything, this is such a good book. And this is where it all started for me. So I'm very, very happy to have read this. And thank you, Jaylene, for recommending me Miss Ali Hazelwood. I love her. So I rated this a 5-star, and I read it in one day. And I do recommend this book. I cannot express it enough, and I'm very excited for the movie to come out. I'm so excited. So as I started on the Ali Hazelwood train, I just kept going for a while. So the next book that I read was Love on the Brain. This is her second book. So this book, I rated a 3-star, so I didn't like it as much as The Love Hypothesis, but it was still very good. So this follows B, Beatrice, I guess was her full name, but she goes by B, and we have Levi. So I guess they were kind of rivals back in school, and she gets a new job, she moves to this new town, and lo and behold, Levi works at the same place. Again, it's STEM, women in STEM, love it. They're working on astronaut helmets, I believe, and they're very much enemies to lovers in this, a little bit of enemies with benefits. So yeah, so that's what this book is. All of Ali Hazelwood's books are spicy, I will tell you that. So if you're not into spicy, maybe skip Ali Hazelwood, but yeah, but I really did like reading this at the time. The reason I rated it 3 stars is because B was kind of getting on my nerves a little bit in the book, but other than that, I really enjoyed this read. I would recommend this book, and especially if you like an enemies to lovers, high banter type of book, this is a good one. Next book, again, keep going with Miss Hazelwood here. So we have Love Theoretically. I believe this is Jaylene's favorite Ali Hazelwood book. It is not mine. I did really enjoy this book. I rated it 4 stars. At the time of reading it, I didn't like it as much, but then thinking back on it, I was like, well, maybe I judged it too harshly, so I did end up giving it a 4-star read. So this one follows Elsie and Jack. So I believe they're both theorists, but they're 2 different type of theorists. I cannot remember. A theoretical physicist, and I don't remember exactly. I don't know, but there's 2 different types of theorists, and they both are the different ones. And I guess he wrote an article in the past kind of dissing her theorist type of things, so they became enemies to lovers type situation. She has type 1 diabetes, so we got some type 1 diabetes representation in this book. And what else can I tell you about this? I think it starts with her fake dating his brother. It was very funny, and I did really like their banter. There was one scene in this book that made me give it a 4-star, but other than that, I really liked it. And I think that Miss Ali Hazelwood did a good job with this. This is one of the more popular Ali Hazelwood books, so I would recommend it. A lot of people love this one. A lot of people say this is her best book. But in my opinion, it's not her best book, but again, that's just my opinion. So it could be your favorite book if you want to start reading Ali. So yeah, definitely recommend this if you want to read it, especially, again, if you like enemies to lovers. I think Ali Hazelwood does a good enemies to lovers. So yeah, I definitely recommend. Okay, I do not have the physical copy of this book, but the next one is Not in Love. So this one follows Eli and Rue, and I really like the relationship. They also are kind of enemies to lovers. I think, like I said, Ali Hazelwood does a lot of enemies to lovers. So I think they meet on Tinder. I can't remember, but they meet on a dating app, and they meet up. They were going to like kind of have a one-night stand type of situation that ended up not happening. And then she goes into work the next day, and Eli is in a company that is trying to take over her company. So it's kind of an enemies to lovers type situation. There's a lot of complications. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of messiness. So if that's kind of your style, then I would recommend it to you. I would recommend it anyway. I really liked it. I gave it a 3.5 star. It's kind of on the lower end of people's favorites of hers, but I still really liked it. I liked Rue and Eli's story. And so, yeah, I would recommend Not in Love if you want to read it. Okay, next up, again, Ali Hazelwood. I just went through her, like, all of her books. So, we have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Oh my god, I loved this book. I read this twice this year, and I didn't count it as reading another book because I already had read it and then I listened to the audiobook, so I didn't count it as 2. But, oh my god, this, the artwork. Oh my god, I love this book. So this is her first sports romance. So this follows Lucas and Scarlett. Scarlett is a diver and Lucas is a swimmer. I believe they're also at Stanford. A lot of her books kind of correlate. So if you read her books in order, you will have little snippets of the previous characters in her books. I know Adam and Oliver mentioned in this book, so I love that little cameo. So Scarlett's best friend, Penn, is breaking up with her current boyfriend, Lucas. Now listen, hear me out. At first, I was like, what? Her best friend's ex-boyfriend that she just broke up with is the love interest? Hear me out. So, Penn wants to go explore with other people. Lucas was her first boyfriend, the only person she's ever been with. Penn was like, I'm in college, I should be having fun, I want to be with other people, so I am going to break up with Lucas. And by doing that, she feels guilty. She wants Lucas to have someone, so she feels like she's not betraying him because Lucas is also her best friend. So she suggests that Scarlett and Lucas hook up while she was drunk one day. And anyway, things happen. Lucas is like, I'm down, Scarlett, if you're down. And things happen. They end up being kind of friends, strangers with benefits. But the relationship is so good. I love Lucas. I recommend reading this audiobook because Lucas is Russian. He does have a Russian accent in the audiobook, and it just makes it so much better. It makes it so much better. I did read this without the audiobook at first, and then I went back and read it with the audiobook, and I think I would recommend reading it with the audiobook. I gave this a 5-star read. It is very, very, very smutty. So if you do not like smut, I would not recommend this book. But if you don't mind the smut, I think this book would be good. And yeah, I cannot express how much I love this book. This was a 5-star read for me. Loved it. Alright, next we have another Ali Hazelwood. This is Problematic Summer Romance. This follows Eli's little sister, which is Maya, and it also follows Eli's best friend, which is Harkness, but his name is Connor, so Connor Harkness, whatever you want to call it. So it is an age gap romance. So I don't know how you guys feel about age gap, but this was my first age gap book, and I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. However, Connor thought it was. So that was the only thing that really annoyed me with this book, is he kept bringing it up. I was like, Connor, shut up. But anyway, it's Eli's little sister from Not in Love, and it's also Eli's best friend. So this is also a destination type book. So they are not in their norm setting. They are on like a vacation type situation. And a lot of stuff goes down. A lot of truth comes out. A lot of interesting things. So I really did like this book. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it better than Not in Love, actually. And I believe this book came out this year. It was one of, I know Deep End and this book came out this year. So I definitely recommend this. And especially if you want to get into an age gap romance, I think this is a good way to dip your toe into that trope. So yeah, recommend, 4 stars, really good. Alright, next is Bride by Miss Ali Hazelwood. Are we surprised? You shouldn't be. Oh, this one is also autographed. I got this one for Christmas as well. Autographed, and let me see where it is autographed. She put a little star in this one, and I'm like, oh! Anyways, so this is Bride. This is Allie's first paranormal romance. So this one follows Misery, which is the female lead, which, that name already, and Lo, which is our male lead. So Misery is a vampire, and Lo is a were, which is basically like werewolves. They call the vampires vamps and the werewolves weres, whatever. And there is also humans in this book, so it's kind of like a 3-species dynamic, and they all have feuds with each other. There's a lot of like political standpoints in this book. But anyways, Misery has to basically be forced to marry Lo, which is the were leader, pack leader, whatever, because of her father. They want to make a truce with the 2 species, so they have to basically get married to symbolize that there is a truce, in a sense. And Misery also is having a tough time because her friend has been missing for a very long time. So there's like a whole lot of drama. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's very, very good. I think that Ali Hazelwood puts in a lot of world building in this, and a lot of like species aspect. There's a lot of detailed things that goes into both of their species that I really liked, and it just makes sense when you put all the pieces together, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I really recommend this book, especially if you want to get into paranormal type of things. I never thought I would like a vampire werewolf book because Twilight in my head is just all that I think about. This is so different from Twilight, and I really like it. This is also a 5-star, almost a 5-star read. I would say 4.5 stars. There was a couple things in it that I wasn't totally obsessed with, but I still really, really liked this book. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this if you want to get into paranormal things, especially if you just want to dip your toe into it just a little bit. Again, this is smutty. Just so you know, all of Ali Hazelwood's is smutty. Okay, now we're going to be talking about a different author, which is the next author I was kind of obsessed with for a while. And it's Abby Jimenez. I really love Abby Jimenez. Her books are so well written. I love the way that she writes about romance. So this is the first book. Actually, one of my patient's parents recommended this series to me, so I went with her word, and yeah. So the first book that I read by Abby was Part of Your World. I read it as an ebook. It was very good. I cannot remember the names. Our female main character, she actually is an ER resident, which I was like, yes, because I work in the medical field. A lot of her characters work in the medical field, and I'm like, pop off. So she is an ER resident, and she's trying to go for the chief resident position, I believe is what it is. And we follow our MMC, which he is like a very small town hero. He helps everyone. He's very well loved in his little town. Like, he's like he's not the police, but he's basically like the mayor. He's like, you know, he helps everybody out. He's like the caretaker of the whole town. So, she gets kind of stranded on a road. He helps her out. She stops at the bar. He's at the bar. They kind of have a one-night stand. She leaves, comes back, and they kind of keep having this little benefits situation. So kind of strangers with benefits in a way. They keep getting to know each other, all these things. But her family is very tough on her, expects a lot from her. Her ex is horrible. All these things happen. But I definitely recommend. I gave this book a 3.5 star. The ending was not my favorite. One thing about Abby Jimenez is she is a 3rd act breakup queen. I will tell you, like, every book that I've read from hers, except for one, has had a 3rd act breakup. So, if you're not a 3rd act breakup connoisseur, I didn't know that going in, but I'm still glad that I read these books. So, just fair warning. And her books also have smut. I would say not as smutty as Ali Hazelwood, but they do still have smut in them. So, just so you know. But would recommend. I really like that book. Next book that I read was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Still going down the Abby Jimenez train. So this one is one of my favorites. It's not my favorite, but it's almost there. Like, it's very close-knit to my favorite. So this one follows, I think her name is Brianna. I'm so bad at remembering the names. Brianna and Jacob. So Brianna is actually best friends with the female main character in the first book. So she's also an ER resident. And Jacob is also an ER resident, but he is coming from a different hospital. He's trying to start over. He had an ex that is actually with his brother and is going to get married. He wants to have a new star, all these things. It's very cute. They end up kind of fake dating, so it's another fake dating trope. A workplace romance. They work together. They write letters to each other at one point. It's very, very cute. He just wants to move on. He also has really bad anxiety. So there's a lot of anxiety representation in this book, and I could not relate to a male character more than I could Jacob. I loved Jacob, and I think he was such a sweetheart, and I could understand his point of view a lot in this book. I don't know. I just really love this book. So if that's the type of book that you would like, I think you should read it. I gave it a 5-star. So I definitely recommend this book. I think it's very sweet and a cute story. And I couldn't put it down. I think I read it in one day as well. Yeah, I read it in one day. And it's a pretty, I don't know how long this book is. It's almost 400 pages. Yeah, it's almost 400 pages, and I read it in one day, which is pretty big for me because I'm a slow reader. So this had my attention. I could not put it down. I loved it. Next book that I read is also by Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. This was another good one. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This is one of everybody's favorites of Abby Jimenez. Again, yours truly was one of my favorites. I would put this probably at 3rd place for my favorite book of hers. It's just so good. It's so good. So they meet actually on Reddit, which is kind of crazy. He has a curse. What is his name? Justin, I believe. Yeah, Justin and Emma. So Justin has this curse where, every person that he dates ends up breaking up with him, and then they find the person they fall in love with for the rest of their life right after him. And the same thing is with Emma. So they meet on Reddit and kind of agree to fake date. Emma is also a travel nurse, which I love because I'm a nurse, and I'm like, ah! So I related to Emma a lot. So Emma and her best friend decide to do a travel assignment where Justin lives. Again, it's like a temporary contract. They go there just for the summer. And there is kind of like a trial dating era with them. So they're basically just having fun. And a lot of things happen. A lot of drama from Emma and her mother. The mother part is the reason why it's a 4.5 star. I really disliked her mother, but I'm not going to spoil anything. So it was just so good. It was very cute, very, very cute. He is a, if he wanted to, he would type of guy. He had a lot of issues with his family. He had to take care of his siblings. It was just, he really stepped up to the plate in this book, and I really, really loved his character, and I really, really loved Emma. I love that she was a travel nurse. I could relate to her, and I don't know, I just really love this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. Again, this one wasn't as smutty as some of her other books, so there was smut in it, but not a lot, so... But anyways, I recommend. I really liked it. So that finishes the Part of Your World series. So now we're getting into Abby Jimenez's The Friend Zone series, which is her first series that she wrote. But I had started with the other one first. I don't know why. Anyway, so I read The Friend Zone. I liked this book. This one is a lot of people's least favorite. It's not my least favorite, but to each their own. So I rated it 3 stars. I would say this is a maybe. It's a maybe. I don't even remember the names, honestly. So all I remember is that she is she makes dog furniture. I don't know. And he is a firefighter, which gave points because, oh my god, a firefighter. Anyway. I believe his name was Josh. I cannot remember her name for some reason. I don't remember. But anyways, so both of their best friends were getting married. So they were kind of there. Josh was new. He just moved to the place that they were all living, and he was helping the female lead, like, build furniture and things like that. It was just very messy. The female lead had some health issues as well. I think she had some health issues with her uterus, and so she was unable to have children. And so that was like a big obstacle in the relationship because he wanted kids and she couldn't have them. So if you have like infertility issues and that's a touchy subject for you, I would probably not recommend this book, because that is talked about a lot in the book. It's like a big aspect. There was also a major event in the book, and I won't spoil it, but it definitely made me cry. It kind of gave me... It probably, if this hadn't happened, the book would have probably been a lower star rating. But I rated it 3 stars, and that's a very generous 3 stars. But like I said, I liked it. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but it's a maybe. I would maybe recommend it. So that's up to you if you want to read it. The next one after that follows the second book, The Happy Ever After Playlist. I hated this book. I really enjoyed the first, like, quarter of the book. I really thought it was good. I was very interested in the plot. I really wanted the female lead to start, like, I wanted her to have her little happiness. The main male lead is he's like a singer. He's like a very popular, famous singer. And a lot of stuff happens with that. And I really liked the beginning. Something in the middle towards the end really just made me angry, and I should have DNF'd it. I gave it 2 stars only because the first quarter of it I enjoyed, and then the rest of it I was like, oh my god, what is happening? I hate this. So this is probably my least favorite Abby Jimenez book. 2 stars. I don't know what else to say. I would not recommend this book. But again, if you like a pop star type of romance, this is the only one that I've read, and I didn't like it. But that's up to you if you want to read it. The next book that I read was Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. It was okay. Again, it wasn't my favorite. I gave it 2 stars just because it bored me. And the female lead was very insufferable to me. I don't know, the whole description, she's taking care of her sister's daughter, so her niece, she's kind of taking care of her because her sister gets into a lot of trouble, and she is living in an apartment, and her next door neighbor, which is our main male lead, helps her out and does all these things and yada yada yada. She has a lot of family drama. He has had past family things, and they just kind of bond over that a little, and she just, oh my god, she really just got on my nerves. So I wouldn't recommend the book. If you want to read it, that's up to you. I gave it 2 stars. That's that. Next book that I read, I needed a little break from the romance. So this is still kind of romantic, but it's a dark romance. I wanted to try it. So I read Lights Out. I read this with the audiobook, and I do recommend reading it audiobook because Josh is so funny. He is hilarious. I loved him in this book. The banter between them, it was so good. If you're in the book talk world, you probably have read this, or you have at least heard about it. I don't think no one has not heard about it if you're into the book world. So it's a dark romance. He is roommates with this guy she used to hook up with a lot. He obviously has had a crush on her, and he kind of stalks her. I know that sounds bad, but he also has a masked TikTok account. And she follows it. She doesn't know it's him, but she follows it, and she comments on it, and he knows it's her. It's crazy, and it's really good. It's really funny. It's very spicy. There's a crazy scene in it, which is, I don't know. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I can't even deny it. Like I said, it's very smutty, but it's really good. It's really funny, and there's a lot of things that happen in it. Again, recommend it with audiobook. Very much recommend it with audiobook. So, yeah. So after Lights Out, I decided to go back to Miss Abby Jimenez because that was just a roller coaster. I read her book that she came out with this year called Say You Remember Me. This is my favorite Abby Jimenez book. A lot of people don't like this because there's a lot of, like, pop culture references in it. People thought it was cheesy, but I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was good. This is if he wanted to, he would. He put in the effort into this relationship, and so did she. They both very much, like, collaborated. They tried their best. Everything. I just love it. So this is Xavier, which is so funny because Xavier is my bias in lads. That's his name. But his name is Xavier, and I can't remember her name. I think it was Samantha. I want to make sure that I get the name right. I think it is Samantha. Yeah, Samantha. Okay, good. I remembered. So this follows Xavier and Samantha. Samantha is moving to take care of her mom that has dementia back to California. I think this was in Minnesota, I believe is where it began. I cannot remember. I think that's where a lot of Abby Jimenez's books are, like, setting-wise, is Minnesota, because I think that's where she's from. I don't know. But, so Samantha and Xavier went on a date. It was, like, the best first date ever. A lot of things happened. Like, they basically fell in love with each other. He's a veterinarian. He took care of her cat, and that's how they ended up going on a date. It was the best date ever. He could not stop thinking about it, and she was like, well, I'm moving the next day. So she left, and he was determined. He was like, I want to be with you. So I'm going to do whatever I have to do. He got a second job. He worked on the weekends. He worked himself to death to be able to afford to go see her in California. He helped take care of her mom. I mean, it was crazy. It's insane. And he has a lot of family issues. And I think there's another found family aspect in this book that I really like. They were very much there for each other, and they leaned on each other emotionally, and it was just a healthy relationship in my opinion. And this is the only book that doesn't have a third act breakup. Thank goodness. And I loved it. I thought it was amazing and beautiful, and I highly recommend it. I gave this book 5 stars. I love this book, and this is my favorite Abby book so far. Okay. Next book that I read, I went back kind of to the Lights Out situation. I kind of just went back and forth. So I read Caught Up, which is the sequel to Lights Out, by Nevessa Allen. I gave this book 1 star. I also listened to it with audiobook because I was like, well, the first one was so good with audiobook. Second one was good. I mean, the audiobook was fine. There was a couple characters that kind of irritated me with their voices, but I mean, that's not the narrator's fault. Like, that's how it was kind of made to be. I hated it. I hated it. It was so... The relationship itself was so toxic. The main male lead, he's like a mafia member, and he is obsessed with this girl that he went to high school with. And he is... I don't know if it was like an OnlyFans she had. It was something like that. She had like an OnlyFans or something. And he was like her top subscriber. And he like was obsessed with her. He wanted her back. And I feel like he just kind of expected it. And all these things went down. This is the most smuttiest book I've read. And it was kind of distasteful to me. Like, not the smut itself, but like the way he went about it. I don't know. I just didn't really like it. It was not my cup of tea. But if you like a mafia boss, ex-cam girl type romance, then there you go. You might like this. And nothing like that bothered me. It was just how toxic he was, in my opinion. And I felt like he didn't take her seriously in the book. And I don't like that. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. So, whatever. Okay, so now we have Twisted Love. So this is the Twisted Love series. I have yet to read the other 3 books, so this is just based off this one book. I do plan on reading the rest of the series this year, just not right now. So, this is the first book of the Twisted Love series by Anna Hong. I liked it for what it was. It was very hyped up on the internet, and it didn't really live up to my expectation. I did rate it a 4-star, but going back, I feel like I would rate it a 3. Just because it was just kind of, I don't know. There was a lot of, like, family drama on both ends, and it kind of didn't, I don't know, it kind of didn't make sense, but it kind of did at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. He is her brother's best friend, so there's that trope. They're kind of enemies to lovers a little bit. He's very, I guess, kind of cold towards her, but he really loves her type of situation, so that's kind of the trope. I liked it. There was just a lot going on in the book, and the ending was kind of anticlimactic to me. It's kind of a third act breakup type of situation as well. So do with that what you will. I would say maybe. I would maybe recommend. Again, I gave it a 4-star when I read it, but I think I would give it a 3 looking back. So that's up to you what you want to decide. So yeah. Okay, next book that I read is called Beach Read by Emily Henry. So Emily Henry is a big author in the romance world right now, and Beach Read was her first book, I believe, or one of the first. I cannot remember. But I was very anticipating her books. I really, really wanted to read them, and I was very excited to read them. I read Beach Read, and I didn't like it. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Our female character, she moves to this vacation house that her dad left her when he died, and she found out something about her dad that she didn't really like, and so she's trying to cope with that while mourning him at the same time. And she meets her college rival there. He's an author, and he's very well known in that town. And she's also an author, so it's like 2 authors kind of falling in love type of situation, ex-rivals to lovers, I guess. There's just a lot of, like, aspects. They kind of challenge each other to write in their different genres. She writes romance books. He writes a lot of fictional, like, I don't want to say sci-fi, but it's like, I don't know what the genre he wrote honestly was. A lot of people really like him. I did not like him very much. I don't know. I feel like she was mourning, and then I feel like he just kind of added to the problem. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite read. I thought it was very, very depressing. I didn't feel like the romance was real. It felt like they were only romantically involved because they were both going through things. And I couldn't see them lasting, like, long term. I don't know. I don't know. I like to think that once the characters in the book end, that they would last a long time. They would be together forever, and I just couldn't feel that with them. So I gave it a 2 stars. It's a maybe recommend if you want to read it. I don't want to say no, because it wasn't horrible, but it definitely was not a good romance book to me. So that's up to you to decide. And some of the, like, side characters I didn't really care for, so meh. I was going to take a break from Emily Henry, but then Jaylene told me to read Book Lovers. So Jaylene really loved Book Lovers. I read it. I thought it was good. It was way better than Beach Read, I do have to say. But it still was not my favorite. So we follow Nora and Charlie. This is also getting a movie adaptation. I think all of Emily Henry's books are getting a movie adaptation. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But this one is up there on people's lists for their favorite book, if not their favorite. I liked it. Again, this was like a publisher / editor, I believe. I don't think either of them were authors. I think it was a publisher and an editor. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, editor and publisher. Yeah. Anyways, so they kind of met. They didn't have a good first impression. Nora goes on a vacation with her sister. Her sister's pregnant. They just needed a girls' trip to get away from the chaos of the world. She lives in New York City. So they went on this vacation to this little town that she read in one of her favorite books. And lo and behold, that's Charlie's hometown, and Charlie is visiting. So they run into each other, they talk, all the things, a lot of things happen. I just felt like this book was more of a sisters becoming sisters again and mending that relationship rather than a romance book. Like, I felt like the romance took a very big backseat in this book. But that's just my opinion. I don't know if Jaylene feels that way, but that's how I felt reading it. It was still a good book. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3-star. I would recommend it, especially if you like Emily Henry. I feel like this would be a good first start of Emily Henry. Don't start with Beach Read. I would start with this book. I mean, it was good. There wasn't a lot of smutty scenes in this. I think there was like 1 or 2-ish scenes. Not saying that a good book has to have smut. Of course it doesn't. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think Emily Henry puts a lot of smut in her books. She does a little, but not like a lot, like Allie Hazelwood. But anyway, I still would recommend it. I think it was a good read. A very quick read. I don't know, how long did it take me? 5 days. So yeah, it's a pretty long book. I think it's like 400 and some pages. No, it was like 3 something, but still, it was good. I recommend if you think that genre is kind of a Rivals to Lovers situation. I don't know. He's a big yearner, I believe. I can't remember. After Book Lovers, I read One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, and oh my god, I love this book! It's funny because this guy's name is Charlie as well, and Charlie was in the last book that I read, so it was like 2 different Charlies back to back. I adore this book. So, what is her name? Why can I not remember the girls' names for some reason? Alice. So, Alice goes to her grandmother's vacation home. Back, I don't know where this took place. I can't remember. I don't know. But she goes with her grandma back to this cottage that they used to go to every summer. It was very nostalgic for her, and she is a photographer. So she needed a break from photography. She was kind of getting in a slump. So she was like, let's take my grandma on this cottage vacation, and we're going to have a time. So her and her grandma go to this place, and she sees her next door neighbor that owns this yellow boat, and a lot of stuff goes down. It's very bantery. It's very kind of, I don't even want to say like enemies to lovers. It was just kind of like bantery, like who does he think he is type of thing at the beginning. And it was very, very good. I really liked Charlie, and of course there was a little bit of drama in here, but he was very flirty. It was very, very cute, and I really liked Alice. He brought her out of her shell a little bit, and I just think that their relationship was beautiful. So I gave this a 5-star. I read it in like 3 or 4 days, I think. Very, very good. Recommend. It's a very good summer read. I would read this in the summer, though. Right. So, again, another summer read. This is called Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. This is my first Megan Quinn book. I've not read another one. And I don't know why, since I have not read another Megan Quinn book since then. But this one was so funny. And I really liked it. And this one has sprayed edges, which is really pretty. But this is... so this girl, she works at this company, and it's an all-men company except for her boss, which is a woman, and all of the men in her company are married. They all talk about all these married things. She's the only single one. So she was sick of it, and she was like, me and my husband are, blah, 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 and they're like, we didn't know you were married, and she was like, yeah, and so they invited her to this camp, which is for married couples, and she was like, yeah, we'll go, but she doesn't have a husband. So her best friend recommended his billionaire brother to go with her on this little thing because he's bored and he's a billionaire. And he doesn't have anything better to do. Even though he's a billionaire, he still wears like a beanie and like sweatpants, and like he's very giving Adam Sandler vibes in this book. And he doesn't let the money go to his head. Like, he's just like, whatever, you know? Like, he's got a nice house, a nice car, but he kind of is, other than that, he doesn't really do anything with his money. So he was like, yeah, like, I want to experience that. So they have this fake marriage, and they have to, it's like a divorce counseling type of camp. So they have to pretend like they're getting a divorce, and they have to mend the relationship through the camp. It's very odd, but it's very, very good. And I loved the banter in this book. I loved both of them. They were so funny. It was definitely not what I was expecting, but it was funny. So I recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it. I read it in a couple days. So I would definitely recommend this book. So yeah. Okay, next book that I read is called Hello, Single Dad. So Kelsey Haas is a plus-size romance author, which I love because I'm plus-size myself, and us plus-size girlies also need some romance. So all of her characters are plus-size, and it's just their stories falling in love with someone. So each book has like a different trope. So this one is about a single dad. This is my first single dad book. I didn't know if I would like it, but I ate this up. I loved this book. It was so good. So she is a guidance counselor in the school that his son goes to. It's like a very fancy school, and she's a guidance counselor. They actually, I think, meet up in a bar, and they have like a one-night stand type of situation. If I am remembering correctly, I think so. And then he has to go to the school because some things are happening with his son, and he sees her as the guidance counselor, and he's like, whoa. Funny how we meet here. So anyway, it's kind of like forbidden romance. They're not supposed to date, but they do, and all these other things. It's very, very good, and I really liked his relationship with his son. I liked her relationship with his son, and I liked their relationship together. I just really enjoyed this book, and I would recommend it. And it is kind of smutty, so yeah, just so you know. But I really liked this book. I would recommend it. And I gave it 4 stars. Yes, I gave it 4 stars. It's good. And then we have the sequel called Hello, Fake Boyfriend. So this one follows the girl's best friend that was in the first book, and the guy's best friend that was in that book. So she is a romance author, and she kind of said on television that she didn't believe in romance, even though she's a romance author, so her ratings kind of went down. So to make up for the ratings, they said you need to pretend like you're in a relationship and say that you misspoke or whatever. So she ends up fake dating her best friend's boyfriend's best friend. Does that make sense? I don't know. So anyways, fake boyfriend. Again, it's a plus size thing. She doesn't believe in love. She only believes in like hooking up. She doesn't think that there's like really any like romance. She doesn't think that will happen for her, and it isn't her thing. But that's kind of like the whole situation in this book. Is she was just kind of holding on to that the whole book, and it was kind of annoying me at a point. Like, I don't know. So I gave it a 2.5 star. I would maybe recommend it. It's up to you. This is definitely not my favorite fake dating book. So I would recommend a different fake dating book, like The Love Hypothesis. But it was okay. Like, not my favorite, but it was alright. So now we are getting into like a sports romance type vibe. So I wanted to read something hockey. I don't know. I wanted to read a hockey romance. I don't know why, but I'm glad that I did. So I started with this series. It's called the DC Star series, and this is by Chelsea Curto. This is her hockey romance series, and I ate this up. I loved this book. So this is called Face Off, and I love how pretty this is just such a pretty cover. I love it. So this is about Emmy and Maverick Miller. Maverick Miller is the captain of the DC Stars. He's very much a playboy at the beginning of the book. He, has had one-night stands with a bunch of people. He, kind of doesn't care I don't know if that's the right word. Like, he's just kind of like, you know, it is what it is. Like, I'll hook up with people, whatever. Emmy is the first female NHL player, period. Love her. Emmy is one of my favorite female characters, like, in any book. I love Emmy. Anyway, she joins the DC Stars, and they kind of have a feud at the beginning, which kind of turns into a friends with benefits / rival benefits kind of thing. But their relationship just blossomed, and I loved it. I ate every word of this up, and I love the way Chelsea Curto writes her books, and it's very found family. It's, oh my god, it's so good. It is so good. I really love this book. I gave it 5 stars. So recommend. So the next book following that one is the sequel called Power Play. So this is Liam. He is the goalie for the DC Stars, and this is Piper. She is a reporter. She does a lot of the NHL sports reporting on the sidelines of the ice, and she, I think, yeah, she's divorced, and he doesn't really like relationships. He doesn't like to be in them. He thinks it's like a distraction. He's very grumpy. This is Grumpy X Sunshine, okay? This is also like a friends with benefits type situation. This one, I did like it, but I did not like it as much as the first book, so I gave it a 4 star. He was just kind of a little too grumpy for me at some points in the book, but other than that, I really did like it. I don't know, it was really good. And all of these books, Chelsea's books are dual point of view, so you get Piper and Liam's point of view in these books. So I would still recommend this book. And look how pretty it is, the pink. Oh, I love it. It's so cute. But yeah, I recommend. It was good, but Face Off, in my opinion, was better. Okay, so this is the 3rd book in the series, called Slapshot. So this one follows my favorite player, Hudson. I love Hudson. Favorite player. He is such a sweetie pie. I love him. And what is her name? Lexi? No, it's not Lexi. Madeline. Lexi is in the 4th book. I was like, wait. Okay. This follows Hudson and Madeline. So Hudson, he is just the sweetie pie. He's kind of like the glue to the team, in my opinion. He'll do anything for any of them, and he is just a sweetheart. I love him, love him. And Madeline is a single mom. Love her. She is a chef. But she loses her job because the restaurant that she works for is getting taken over by somebody else, and they are letting go of the staff. So she needs to find a job. I think she was originally in Las Vegas. But Hudson is in need of a private chef. All the previous private chefs he's had were like very snoopy, just kind of wanted to like steal from him, or were obsessed with him, those types of things. And he needed a private chef because as a hockey player, he doesn't have a lot of time to like cook his meals. Whenever he gets home, he was eating crappy. He wasn't getting the nutrition he needs to like be his best at playing hockey. So he wanted a private chef to like have meals made so that way he could eat them, he's a NHL player. Like, he don't got time to cook. Anyway, so he hires Madeline, and they end up living together because she was relocating to DC, and he was like, well, why don't you just move in here? Like, I'll pay you whatever, like, you can just live here as part of like your salary and whatever. So she was like, okay. So they become kind of like a roommates to lovers type situation. It was kind of a very touchy beginning because she didn't want him to feel like, I don't know, like, he kind of fell first though. And her daughter also is deaf, so there's a lot of like of that representation in it. I just love Hudson. I don't want to I'm not going to spoil anything, but his relationship with her daughter is just so good. It's so sweet. I really loved it. I gave this one a 5 stars as well, and I believe this is my favorite book in the DC series. Not trying to be biased because Hudson is my favorite character in the DC gang, so I recommend. Really love it. I don't have a physical copy of the 4th book, but it is on my list to get, but I have read it. It's called Hat Trick. So this follows Riley and Lexi. Riley is also part of the DC Stars. However, he does get in a car accident and unfortunately loses his leg, as you can see in the cover. So Lexi is the medical assistant or sports medicine person. I'm sorry, I don't know the position, like, name. But they, he helps, or she helps him, like, rehabilitate, like, and he struggles a lot with that. He used to be the happy sunshine person of the group, and now this has happened to him. His life is turned upside down, so a lot of things happen, and I thought their relationship was beautiful. He liked her before this happened to him, and it just they kind of just fell. And they were also kind of a benefits thing for a little bit. But I really, really liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Definitely recommend. This one is the popular one of the series. A lot of people say this is their favorite book of the series. So I would definitely recommend it if you want to get in this book, in this series. You could honestly read them all as standalones, but I would recommend them in the series because it kind of follows all the characters are in all the books. So it's like a big family type of situation. So, but you don't have to read them all to read the series. So that's up to you if you want to read it. The next book that I read was called That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. But so I am in a book club, kind of, I think, with Lexi and Shy. We were going to do, I think everyone picks a book each, like someone picks a book a month and then we read it, but I don't think we're really doing that anymore. I don't know what's happening with this book club. Anyway, but I think Lexi had picked this book to read, and I know Shy read it, but I don't even know if Lexi read it. Lexi, if you're watching this, did you read this? I don't know. I can't remember. I think you did, or you were planning to, and I don't know. I don't know what happened. But it was okay. It was 2.5 stars for me. It was a shorter book. So it was kind of an easy, fast read to go through. I read it on my Kindle. It's so funny because the book cover of this the girl looks exactly like Shy. The pink hair, everything is just so Shy coded, and I'm like, this is literally a book about Shy. So like the whole time I was imagining Shy as the main female character. It was so funny, but it was so cute. And it was kind of a funny banter moment, like this whole book. It was just funny. It was a good light read. I didn't take it too seriously. I was just confused some of the time. I was like, what's even happening right now? And I just, a lot of it just kind of didn't make sense. Like the world building part of it, but the relationship part of it, I enjoyed a lot. Her name was Cinnamon, which I thought was funny too, because Shy's allergic to cinnamon. So that was, I don't know, I thought that was really funny. But I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a 2.5 star. I didn't expect to take it too seriously. So, I mean, I would recommend it if you just want a good, lighthearted read. And it's kind of a fantasy type of situation. So, do with that with what you will. Like I said, it's a good kind of light read to, like, if you're like in a slump, it's a kind of a good read to get you back in. So, yeah, I recommend it if you think that's your vibe. Next book that I read was Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice. We were getting into the fall season here. I hated this. This was like the Barnes & Noble Book of the Month type thing, where you bought a thing at the bookstore and you got it for $5. Or you bought a thing at the cafe and you got it for $5. But I missed out on that, and my brother ended up getting it for me because he felt bad. I don't know, but I hated this book. Absolutely hated it. It was so not good. The cover is giving a romance. There was barely any romance in this. And plus they're in high school. I didn't know it was a YA whenever I got it. And looking by the cover and it saying Scholastic, I should have known. But it was very insufferable. the female character was very insufferable. So her and her mother own a very small cafe shop, and he just moved here, and his family is opening up a cafe, kind of like a Dunkin' / Starbucks type of company, like cafe right across the street from theirs, kind of like a generic, not like homemade type cafe. And so that they were getting competition, and she was mad at him for it and kind of loathed him, made him an enemy, and he was like, bruh, like, I don't know what to tell you. And she was just so, like, spiteful the whole book, and I'm like, girl. And he was very nice to her, and I don't know how he was, because she was so mean. And they never had anything pumpkin spice on their menu, and that was the best seller for them, for the other cafe. And so she had to start making stuff pumpkin spice, and she hated pumpkin spice, and it was just a big thing, and it was just very annoying. I gave it a 1 star. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're like in middle school. I don't know, I didn't really like it. Next book that I read was Butcher and Blackbird. So this follows Rowan and Sloane, and oh my god, this book this book is crazy. So they're both serial killers, and they kill serial killers. So it's kind of like a Dexter type of vibe, but like with each other. He is like a huge fan of her. He's the butcher, she's the blackbird, and he's like, oh my god. So he kind of saves her from this dangerous situation at the beginning. They like do this competition every year where they go, and like if one of them kills the person first, then they like win or get a point or something. Then the other person has to do something that they don't want to do. So it's kind of like a little banter-ish type thing. Serial killer to lovers, I guess. But it's really, really good. I really liked it. Their banter is so funny. I really, really loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. Yeah. If you have read this book, ice cream. That's all I'm gonna say. Ice cream. If you know, you know. Okay, next book that I read was Fourth Wing. So this book I had on my TBR for a long time. I wanted to get into a romance, fantasy, romantasy type of vibe, and I heard this series was really good. I didn't know about the author until after I had got these books. So, yeah. Anyway, so this book follows Violet Sorrengail. It's about dragons. It's about a war college. It's about romance. It's very enemies to lovers. Me and Shai have been reading it together. We're on the 3rd book right now, so I have not finished this. There's 3 books in the series so far. I think the author's writing a 4th one. But I really did enjoy this book. I give it 5 stars. The first one has been my favorite so far. I think the world building is great. I really like the dragons in this book. I really like the characters in this book. Yeah, I would recommend it if you like fantasy. But I would not buy it firsthand. I would buy it secondhand, or I would like read it in a different way. I don't know. Read it for free. Read it as an audiobook on YouTube for free. You can do that. So yeah, this is, I recommend if you want to get into romantasy. Following Fourth Wing, I read the 2nd book, Iron Flame. These books are pretty long. These are the longest books I've read. This one's like 623 pages. I gave this one a 4 star. This one just was so long. Like, it could have been cut in half. There was a lot of, like, unnecessary, like, things in it. It didn't need to be this long. It could have been cut into 2 books, honestly. But I still enjoyed it. I still really like these characters. I am enjoying the timeline, and I'm enjoying the story of them. Like I said, I'm reading the 3rd book now. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm 100 pages in. I'm like 60 pages in. And I'm going to take my time with it. I'm not going to rush myself, because I heard it leaves off on a big cliffhanger. And she has yet to start writing the 4th book. So I'm not gonna rush it. So, yeah. Iron Flame, 4 stars, recommend it. Especially if you've read Fourth Wing, you might as well read this one. Next book is called If It Makes You Happy. So, this book was all over my TikTok. It's by Julie Olivia. Everyone was saying this is one of the best romances, and I loved it. Loved it. So, this is a fall romance, but it kind of goes through into Christmas and after Christmas, so you don't really have to read it in the fall. It just looks aesthetically pleasing for the fall to read. But this is, let's see, what were their names? I forget. I'm really bad at remembering names. Cliff and what is her name? Yeah, this was a dual. Michelle and Cliff. This was also a dual point of view book. So Michelle just lost her mother, and her father is not in a good way. So her father decides to stay home with her sister that's in art school, while he is mourning their mother. And Michelle just recently broke up with someone that she was planning on spending the rest of her life with. And, but he was very unsupportive. It was not good. Or were they getting a divorce? I don't even remember. I don't know if it was a divorce or if they were just breaking up. I don't know. I don't remember. But, anyway, she decides to go take care of her mom's B&B and take a break from work, let her mourn her mom, all these things. So she goes to Vermont, I believe is where this takes place, and it goes to the little Airbnb. She tries to run it, and Cliff is her next door neighbor, and he is a very helping hand. He is a single dad. He has 2 girls. One's a teenager, one's like a younger girl, I think elementary school year-ish age, I don't know. But, this romance was just so good. I really liked it. It was a very slow burn. It is a very long book. It's like 500 and some pages. But I didn't get bored of it. I kept reading it. I loved it. I read it in... how many days? I read it... like in 6 days. So I was very interested. It didn't even take me a week to read this. Especially a book this big. So yeah, and it's also set in 1997. So it's kind of like a Gilmore Girls type of vibe. So if you like the Gilmore Girls, I would recommend this. It was very cute. I really liked it. I really liked the relationship. It was very healthy in my opinion. And the communication was there. I really liked it. Very good. So, it did kind of have a cheesy scene at the end that I was kind of like, meh. But I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it, so would recommend. Next, I read Miss Allie Hazelwood's newest book called Mate. So this is the sequel to Bride. Again, this is following Aware, and this is following, what's her name? Serena, and what was his name? Cohen. Yes. I don't know why I remember the names of like the characters in the first books that I read, but not the ones I just most recently read. But this was my first signed Allie Hazelwood book because I got it personalized. I pre-ordered it and got it personalized, and she wrote in green ink. So cute. I love it. She's so cute. But so this one's the sequel to Bride. So this is a werewolf romance. It's very kind of grumpy, kind of sunshine-ish, kind of not really enemies, but kind of like forced to be together type vibe. It's a kind of a slow burn, he falls first type vibe, like they're mated. So it's really good. There's a lot of angst in this book. So if you like angst, this would be a good one. I rated it 4.5 stars. I definitely liked Bride better, but I still really liked this book. I think it was good. it was slow burn at first, but then when it got to the smut lasted for a couple of chapters. It was kind of crazy. So, yeah. Anyway, recommend. I like it. Next book I read was called Leather and Lark. So it is the second book to the, what is it called? It's the Butcher and Blackbird series. Ruinous Love Trilogy. So it was the second book to that. And I listened to it on audiobook. I listened to the first one on audiobook as well. But I just had a physical copy. But I don't have a physical copy of this one. But I did listen to it on audiobook. I would recommend doing it because the males have like an Irish accent. Oh, so good. I love it when they have accents. It was really good. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as Butcher and Blackbird. I gave it 3.5 stars. She is a serial killer. He also kills people, but not like, he kind of does it as like a job type thing. It is Rowan's brother and Sloane's best friend in this one. They were kind of enemies to lovers type vibe. They had a fake marriage. They were kind of roommates type of situation. It was pretty good. Again, not as good as the first book. It's probably my least favorite of the 3 books, but I still recommend it. So yeah, do with that what you will. Then the next book that I read was Hot for Slayer. I wanted to read it in October. It was a little short story. Ali Jimenez did like a novella. It was so good. I loved it. I would have loved a full book of this. I wish it was a full book. I gave it 5 stars. It is a vampire, and she has a, I think it's the Vampire Slayers or something like that. I don't know what they were called exactly. But anyway, this guy has been hunting her for centuries. And she's always got away. And this one night, she thought he was actually going to kill her. I think he gets knocked out or something, and then he loses his memories, and then he's like telling her all these things. It's just crazy, and she's just like, yeah, like, you're a carpenter. Like, it was just so funny, and it was really good. I really liked the banter. It was a he's falls first situation. It was really good, and I really recommend it. I gave it 5 stars, and it's very short. I think it was 94 pages. Next book I read was called The Silent Patient by Alex, I don't even know how to say his last name, Michaelides? I don't know. This guy. So this was my first thriller book. I wanted to read it because it talks about a patient. Again, I'm a nurse, so I was kind of interested. It's about this girl, her husband dies. They think that she murdered him. And this guy was really obsessed with her story and wanted to know more about her. She was in a psychiatric unit or a hospital or whatever it's called, and he got a job there. He wanted to help her. He wanted to fix her, basically. And she was mute, like she was silent, like she was not, she never spoke again after her husband died. So even in court, when her trial was going through, she didn't speak. She doesn't really show any like emotion, anything. So it kind of follows that story, like him trying to do all these things. It was very hard. It was a very hard read to get through at the beginning, but I think the ending was worth it. It was a good twist at the end. I gave it a 3-star. It took me a while to read this because I was just getting kind of bored. It kind of dragged. So it's a maybe recommend. If you don't mind the very slow burn to a good twist ending, then I would recommend it. But if you're a couple chapters in, you're like, I'm bored, then I wouldn't recommend it. It took me a while to get through. So, but overall, it was good. The ending was good. Next thing that I read was Scythe and Sparrow. This one was also an audiobook read. It's the 3rd book to the Ruinous trilogy. I liked this one a lot. It's probably my 2nd favorite of the trilogy. So it follows another one of the brothers, and I don't think this girl had anything to do with the other 2 girls in the other books. I think she was just kind of a standalone. So she is on this kind of like moving circus thing. So she does this like circus act, and he is a doctor. Something happens to where she hurts herself, and she finds herself at his clinic, and he finds her there. He takes her to the ER. He wants to help her get better, and so he kind of takes her in. So they're kind of roommates at this point, which is very odd. But she is a serial killer to men that mistreat women. So yeah, that's kind of the vibe. Let's see. I really liked it. I liked the relationship. I gave it 4 stars. The only thing is the ending of these books kind of all coincide. So different things are happening with each of them, but they're all in the same timeline. So it's kind of hard to like, it's kind of like by the time you read this one, it's like I already know what's going to happen at this point. I just don't know what's happening with them two specifically. But you know the situation that's going on. I don't know if that makes any sense. But that was the only thing I didn't really like about the book. Other than that, I loved all of it. I thought it was good. Recommend. Next book is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. So, sadly, this book disappointed me. This book was the rave on TikTok. Everyone was like, this is a must read. It's so good. Best romance ever. Like, so everyone loved it. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't like it that great. And I still gave it 3 stars. I don't know why I gave it 3 stars, honestly. I just felt bad not giving it less than 3 stars. Like, I don't know. It just was not my cup of tea. Clementine is the girl, and I don't even know what the guy's name was. I didn't really care for him at all. I liked her story. If this story would have followed just her and her aunt, then I probably would have liked it way better. I don't think the romance was believable. I didn't like the romance in this book. If it would have been about her and her aunt and their story together, I think I would have liked it way better. Her aunt just passed away. Her aunt left her this apartment, and apparently this apartment is magical. It kind of takes you back in time 7 years. That's why it's called The 7-Year Slip. And she meets a guy that's in her aunt's apartment, and he was being loaned the apartment. Her aunt let him use it for that moment in time. And in that moment in time when he was in it, she and her aunt was on this traveling expedition. I don't know whether, I think they were in Europe or something. So that her in that timeline was on a trip, and this her from the future was falling in love with this guy and in her apartment. It was just so much back and forth, and it was kind of confusing, and I didn't really like the side characters in this book. I thought it was kind of annoying, and I don't know. I didn't like him at all, really. He kind of got on my nerves. It was kind of like all about him all of the time, and it just, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. I gave it 3 stars. I don't know. He's a chef. And yeah. I forget what I think she's a book publisher. Yeah, I think she works in a publishing office. I don't know. Just not my cup of tea. I didn't really like it that great. It was, like I said, I gave it 3 stars. If you want to read it for the hype, go ahead. If that's kind of the vibe, it's kind of a magical apartment type of book. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and read it. You might like it. But for me, I didn't like it that much. Next book I read was another Emily Henry. I wanted to give Miss Emily Henry another chance. I read People We Meet on Vacation. I read this because the movie is coming out this month. It is coming out January 9th on Netflix, and I wanted to read it before the movie came out. And I'm so glad that I did. I really, really liked this book, and this is a very unpopular opinion. I give it 4.5 stars. I loved this book. It's a best friends to lovers type of book. She works for this traveling publishing agency, so she gets to travel a lot of places for free. She's a travel writer, vlogger, and he is a teacher, so he gets summers off, so they go to these different destinations that she gets to go on for free together, and they go on these summer trips. Something happens one year, they go off contact for 2 years, then they go on this new trip together to kind of rekindle their friendship, and a lot of bad stuff happens. and that's kind of the book. It kind of goes back and forth with timelines, which was why I kind of gave it 4.5 stars, because I don't like the back and forth timeline. But I really did enjoy this book. It kind of made sense to do it a back and forth timeline to kind of get, like, you get the history and then what's going on currently. I really, really, really loved it, and I thought the relationship was good. A lot of yearning, a lot of people some miscommunication, which I guess, yeah, but it wasn't as much miscommunication, but kind of fear of losing what they have, and that's a very real thing. Like, a lot of people go through that in real life, so I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I recommend it if you like Best Friends to Lovers, if you like the summer vacation vibe. Yeah, I recommend it. I thought it was good. Next thing that I read was Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. Oh my god, one of my favorite romances of the year. I loved this book. So freaking good. Oh my god, so beautiful. It was Christmas time romance. He is the ghost of Christmas past, which is crazy. He comes to take her to go find, you know, her past, what she could do to fix it, become a better person, blah, 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 blah. But it turns out she's been a good person all this time, so he doesn't understand what he's doing, to why he's taking her to the past, what's happening. And he realizes, like, all these things that happen bad in her life are not her fault. Like, she has a tough situation with her parents, a bad relationship with her whole family, except for her aunt. Her aunt was kind of like the only person that believed in her, all those types of things. He's realizing all of this, and he's like, what is happening? Like, I don't understand. And then they start going into his past. It's very interesting. Not really what I expected at all. It's very, very good. And the ending was great. I loved it. Made me cry. It almost made me cry. I was at work when I finished it, and I was tearing up. So I definitely would recommend this book. I really, really liked it, and I think you should read it. This was a 5-star for me. 5-star. Next book that I read was Heated Rivalry. Oh my god. So this is a hockey romance. It's a MLM hockey romance. So it follows Ilya and Shane. I wanted to watch the TV show, and I watched the first episode, and I was like, I'm reading that book. So I watched the first 2 episodes. The series is on HBO Max, and it's called Heated Rivalry. And I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was like, I'm reading that book. So I got the book. I read it in, like, I think it says 5 days according to my thing, but I think I read it less than that. I listened to an audiobook, which I wouldn't recommend. I would probably read it with a physical book, but I only had time to listen to it with audiobook. So freaking good. It was so good. I love Ilya and Shane, and the show really does go with the book. Loved it. Love it. If you want a very, very, very slow burn kind of rivals to lovers benefits type of gay hockey romance, this is it. This one's for you. You need to read it. So good. I rated the book 4.5 stars. Again, it was just that long timeline. I mean, it expanded over years, like 7 to 9 years. I can't even remember. That's the only part. It was just so long and dragged out. I was like, ugh. But other than that, I really loved it. I loved everything else about it. Next book that I read was called Remarkably Bright Creatures. I heard this one was very hyped up. A lot of people really liked it. It was kind of my first fictional, non-romance-ish book that didn't have any fantasy aspect. It was kind of like a real world, just fiction book. It was okay. It was not as good as everyone hyped it up to be. I gave it 3 stars. So it's about this octopus that lives in this aquarium where this 70-year-old woman works at. And she had lost her son when she was younger. She is still mourning him through all this time. He was 18 when he died. She's still mourning. Her husband has passed away at this point as well. So she's kind of living this life on her own. She knows her time is coming soon, so she's thinking about retirement and, you know, living in a retirement home. She doesn't really have any family to, like, take care of her as she gets older. It's kind of really sad. And this octopus is also going at his last days, so it's kind of like this back and forth. There is an octopus point of view. There's it's the point of view of her, the octopus, and this guy named Cameron. Cameron's kind of he has abandonment issues. His mother abandoned him when he was younger. He never met his dad. He is on this journey to find his dad. He cannot keep a job to save his life. It's like, I don't know, it's all these aspects, but it was a good ending. It was something that I kind of suspected, but not really. I don't know. It was I just kept guessing in my head while I was reading it. I was like, I did read it with audiobook because I heard that it was better with audiobook. I don't really see a difference. I think you could read it with just the book. But the octopus has a nice accent. That's really the only reason I read it with the audiobook. But yeah, I gave it 3 stars. I would recommend it if you want a good, quick read. If you want kind of a sadder story to read. There's no romance in it, like I said. Nothing really crazy. The octopus was good, though. Those 3 stars, that octopus carried. The next book that I read or really listened to was an audiobook. It's the Spotify audiobook called Bound. It's by Ali Hazelwood, of course, and it was really, really good. I rated it 5 stars. So this girl, she does a lot of forgery with these very classic books, like these very old books. She and her, I guess, boss make a deal. Like, if she finds these books, she'll forge them to look like the classics, and they sell them for a lot of money. And this one guy finds her and tries to hire her to forge books. But turns out he's kind of this vampire-ish guy. They don't call him vampires, like revenants is what I think they called them. And anyway, it's just really good. And he's like, I don't know. I loved him. I loved him and I loved her. They were such a good couple together. Kind of grumpy ex-sunshine a little bit. It was really good. I really liked it. 5 stars. Recommend. Next book that I read was called Sin Bin. So this was the 5th and newest book of the DC Star series. I think Chelsea Curdo came out with this like in December, like December 15th or something. And I read it. It was the 5th book, and it's following our coach. So it was the coach, and it was actually Grant's sister. Grant is another part of the team. He doesn't have his own book yet, but I think his book is next. And Grant's little sister is the female lead in this book. So there is an age gap in this book. He is a single dad. It was good. She's a figure skater as well, and he's the hockey coach. So she kind of falls in the slump with figure skating, and she wants him to train her to like go back to the basics, to fall back in love with the sport. And so he does, and he also hires her to train his daughter, which is also in figure skating. So it's kind of like this whole big kind of training thing, and they become like friends with benefits for a while. Age gap, like I said, and yeah, it was good. It was just kind of like, I think she wrote this book pretty fast, and I feel like I could tell. It's definitely my least favorite of all the books of the series so far, which is kind of sad in my opinion. I was kind of disappointed, not like in the book itself, but just like, I kind of felt like I was rereading the other books in a way, but just with these characters. I don't know if that makes any sense. It just felt like the same thing, like over and over, you know? But I gave it 3 stars. I still liked it. I still would recommend it, especially if you like age gap and things like that. It just wasn't my favorite. So, do with that what you want to. Okay, we're going in the home stretch here. We don't have many left. So, Two Can Play, I listened to this. This is also another Spotify special from Ali Hazelwood. So, this is about 2 characters. They both work in the video game world, which is a little different for her. And both of their companies are kind of rivals, but they want to, this new video game is coming out and they want both of the companies to work on this video game. So they go on this big excursion together. The company pays for both of these companies to go on this trip, and they have to kind of work their issues out to be able to work on this video game. It was pretty good. I would say it's kind of enemies to lovers type situation. It's very short. It's called Two Can Play, but I think she's actually coming out with the paperback version of this book. I don't know if she's adding to the book or if she's just putting it into words and putting it in a paperback, but I'm gonna get it whenever it comes out. I enjoyed it. It was a very quick read for me. I read it in a day. I don't know. I liked it. So if that's kind of your thing, then read it. Okay, and then the next 3 books, I counted them as 3. It's kind of cheating, but it's Ali Hazelwood's 3 novellas that she first came out with. They are 3 separate stories, but so that's why I made them, I just counted them as 3 books instead of 1 to reach my reading goal. But you could kind of call it just 1 book because it is kind of the length of 1 book when you put them all together, but they are 3 separate stories. So the first one is called Under One Roof. I gave this 4 stars. It was really good. It's a roommates, kind of enemies to lovers type situation. Her advisor, I believe, one of her academic advisors left her a part of her house, but this guy owns the other half of it, and he wanted to buy her part out, and she refused. She wanted to keep that part, and so she moves in, and he kind of hates her at first. They kind of hate each other because they're stuck together. They're kind of both have a grudge. They're not going to let go of the place. But it ends up being really good. I really wish out of all 3 of these, this one would have been a longer book. I really liked it, and I gave it 4 stars, so I wish I could read more about them. I really liked them. Then this one was the second book. It was called Stuck With You. So these 2 characters work in kind of rival companies. So she has like more of an eco-friendly company, and his company kind of sucks and isn't as eco-friendly, but yeah, whatever. So, but they work kind of in the same building. So they're kind of rivals in the same building. And they kind of ended up in a one-night stand situation. Something happens in the book, and she ends up hating him for a reason that he doesn't know about. And they get stuck in an elevator, and the power goes out, and they're stuck in this elevator, and she is just very annoyed, and he's trying to work out their differences in the elevator. It's kind of funny, and I liked this one too. I gave it 3 stars. I wish I could have got a little bit more of them too. This was my second favorite of the 3. But yeah, I recommend it. I gave it 3 stars. This one was the 3rd one, called Below Zero. So all of these girls are best friends. So that's kind of why it was kind of all kind of in one book, the novella collection. So it's called Loath to Love You. So all these are kind of enemies to lovers at the beginning. So she contacts her because her cousin works for NASA. She wants to get a job at NASA, wants to interview him for the school project. They interview, they kind of fool around a little bit, and he kind of rejects her at the end of it. And then years later, she graduates school, she goes to NASA, she realizes he's there. He does something in the book, and she kind of holds him against that. And then, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it was not my favorite. I gave this one a 2 star. So it was my least favorite of the 3, but overall, I would say the whole book together was like a 3.5 star book. But if you just want some quick reads, these are really good, especially this one. I would recommend the most. I really liked this one. So yeah, that is the 3 novellas I read. Okay, 2 more. We're almost there. So the next one I read was Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. Oh my god. I really liked this one. I gave it 3 stars just because it was so short. I wanted more, and I realized that I couldn't get more because it's a novella, but still. It was like in this winter collection that she wrote with a bunch of different authors. Kind of like how she did with Hot for Slayer. But this was a best friend's brother type trope. And it was years of yearning. This guy is a yearner. Oh my god, it was so good. She kind of gets stuck in this winter storm at his place, and they kind of have to talk through, you know, their past and all these kind of things. And it's just, oh, it was so good. He's such a yearner, and he's honest about it. He's like, I'm waiting for you. Like, you're it for me. And I'm like, whoa, what a man. It's really good. I really liked it. I gave it 3 stars just because I wanted more. I wanted more of it. So, yeah. And then the last book that I read was called Worst Wingman Ever by Abby Jimenez. Had to leave off the year with Ali Hazelwood and Abby Jimenez. So I gave this one a 4-star. I liked it. It was also a kind of a short novella. This girl is a nurse. She is a home health hospice nurse. Her grandmother's dying, so she was helping her grandmother. Her grandmother was telling all this like very good life advice, and she comes out of her apartment and has a Valentine's Day card on her car, and it's addressed to somebody else, and she's like, someone left this Valentine's card in my car. And it was our MMC that left it on there for his brother's girlfriend, but he didn't realize that that wasn't his brother's girlfriend's car, because he was delivering it for his brother, not him, to her. So he wrote an apology letter, put it on her car, and was like, I'm sorry, like, I didn't mean to, like, do that. And then they kind of do this back and forth, writing each other and, like, putting it on her car, and they give each other gifts. It's very funny. But at the end, they kind of finding out who each other was. It was really cute, very good short story. I really liked it. 4 stars. I would recommend. Audiobook. Good. So that is the end of my 2025 reading wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have read or are going to read any of these books, because I would love to talk about these books with you guys. I absolutely loved them, and I hope you guys love them too. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And I hope you guys will stay with me through my channel. I'm sorry that I basically was absent all of last year. Just needed to work on stuff in my life. And I hope I will be better at posting this year. I'm not going to promise anything, but yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Stay cozy, friends. Bye.